Hey, what's cracking? This is Darren Phat-Man McDuffie helping you become perfectly healthy and toned, brought to you by I'mThePhatMan.com. Today's lesson is about 3 mistakes I made myself when I went gluten-free, and I want to share those with you so you don't make those. So stick around for the whole video. Now, a lot of people out here are going gluten-free. It's not a fad. I made a video on that. If you haven't watched that video, I suggest you go back and do that. But certain people are starting to take their health into their own hands, and they're realizing that gluten can be harmful. Now, I made 3 fatal mistakes when I decided to go gluten-free 5 years ago, and I want to share those with you so you don't make those same mistakes. Now, number 1 is continuing to eat potato chips. I was very, very addicted to a brand of vinegar and salt potato chips, and I noticed that I never read the label, and then I started to read the label. And if you've watched any of my videos on how to read food labels, you know that I discussed an ingredient called maltodextrin. Now, maltodextrin can be derived from MSG, which is monosodium glutamate, or it can be derived from gluten. And that was one of my big mistakes. I continued to eat those potato chips, and I no longer do that now. You have to start to read labels more and more, because if you start reading labels, you'll notice that they try to slip things in on you. And a lot of products are out there that are called quote unquote natural are not natural at all, because they're sticking these chemical substances in there and you have no idea. So be careful and always read labels. The second thing was eating out without asking. I'm very, very adamant now that I'm going to ask what's in the food before I consume the food. And then when I go to a restaurant, I let them know that I'm gluten sensitive. Sometimes I'll even tell them that I'm celiac, because in celiac, if a person consumes gluten, they can die. So I want them to take it serious. I don't want them to think that it's a fad. There are several restaurants out there, and I'm not going to name any names, but several restaurants will add gluten to different things to make it taste better. Now, for instance, you have your well-known pancake houses. I'm not saying any names here, but I know that they add pancake batter to their eggs in order to make them a little bit fluffier. So you have to be careful when you're going gluten-free, because you don't know what's being put into your food. And the one thing that I would ask you to do is just ask and make it known to your waiter. If your waiter is not someone who's up on being gluten-free, then you need to talk to the manager and let the manager know that that you are gluten sensitive or you are either celiac, because in certain situations this could be a life or death type thing. The third thing is sauces. Now, I had no idea that they put wheat in sauces, and these sauces can come from natural food stores like Whole Foods, but they still put wheat in those sauces. So I had to go through my whole refrigerator and throw out things like teriyaki sauce, ketchup, different type of things that I use for marinades, because when I looked on the back of the label, I noticed that there would be wheat in them. And a lot of times we don't read these labels, and we really don't know that they're putting gluten in these things to make them thicker, to make them taste better, and also to make them more addictive, because when you are consuming gluten has the same effect on the brain as either taking heroin or cocaine. So you get addicted to these things. So you really, really have to watch out for these things. Now, hope this has enlightened you. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I try to answer your questions. Also, go back and look at the videos that I've done on how to read food labels, and check out the video that I did on is gluten-free actually a fad? And I'll be back with more tips for you with regards to gluten-free, since I am gluten sensitive. So hope that you learned something from this video. This is Darren Phat-Man McDuffie helping you become perfectly healthy and toned. Be sure to check out my show and join my Facebook fan page so you can get the latest updates on the Phat-Man radio show, where I interview local health experts, national health experts on books that I've read, and you can get the 411 on your health. And also check out the Wellness Warrior podcast, which I do with Diane Kaiser, who's a functional diagnostic nutritionist, and we give you the real deal on health. So again, it's been Darren Phat-Man McDuffie, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.